In the early days of the pandemic, when it was still cold outside and everybody was forced to be indoors, bread of all things became an icon of a return to domesticity. Famously, no one could find flour at any of the grocery stores, and King Arthur's sales were up something like 2,000%. Instagram grids were awash in pornographic crumb shots. Bubbly loaves, fresh out of the oven. In quarantine, we all learned how to bake bread. And we also gave up on hating carbs. For the last several years, we've been obsessed with carb-cutting diets like Atkins or the Paleo diet, or most recently, the ketogenic diet. Who's gonna work on a beach body if you can barely even go to the beach? So did the pandemic kill the ketogenic diet? The body uses blood sugar as its main source of energy. When we eat fewer carbs or no carbs, the body turns to stored fat, and that's how you get that fat burning effect. In January of 2019, Google searches for the ketogenic diet peaked harder and higher than searches for any similarly fattish diet. So what happened? How did we go from bragging about weight loss to showing off our very rotund sourdough loaves? Probably a global health crisis. I spoke to Dr. Marcelo Campos, a family doctor based in Boston, and he says that pleasure has a lot to do with it. Quote, "It goes back to the thing that food is pleasure, and there's not a lot of pleasure these days." The pandemic has kept people from doing what they normally like to do, going out, seeing their friends, going for a jog. And in the absence of these things, people have turned to the places that they can find pleasure, like carbs. No matter how diligent people were about their previous diets or their desire to lose weight, the desire for pleasure is really trumping all of that. Even Dr. Campos is figuring out how to make his favorite treats at home. And his patients are talking about the quarantine 15, the quarantine 30. But it's really hard to blame Americans for engaging in a little self-soothing during this incredibly stressful time. The real question is, will our pandemic-induced love affair with carbs survive the next diet craze? And that is a question for another day.